Hello traders, welcome back to this video. My name is Anthony. So today is on weekend and as usual we do our top-down analysis. But before we do our video, let me start by apologizing for not making our previous um our previous weekend video on top-down analysis. Last weekend I didn't manage to do that. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been quite busy. I've not been able to make time to do the videos. But as of now, I'm fully back to the charts. So stay tuned to the channel, guys. Always make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed the channel. Turn on the notification bell so that you'll be the first person to be notified as soon as I upload a new video. So today I have few pairs with me that I would like us to do analysis. So stick to the end of the video, and as always, make sure you learn something from this video. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, before we do our analysis, let me start by asking you, how was your week? How was your week? Have you managed to take any trades this week? So for me, and for those who are in my Telegram community, we know very well. Yesterday, yesterday was on Friday. We did a video. We took a trade. There is this setup that I shared on my Telegram community channel on Euro USD, my good friend Euro USD. And from Wednesday, we have been waiting for that setup till yesterday during the New York session. That is when the trade laid out, and I managed to catch um 3R from the setup. So because I didn't want to hold the trade for the weekend, so I just took my profit at 1:3. So if I can just show you the setup, then now we can do our top-down analysis. So for those who are in the Telegram channel, I think uh you saw the setup. I shared the setup with you guys. So if you would like to join the Telegram channel, the link is on the description of this video. You can find it somewhere there. Then you join there. But a disclaimer before you join, in that Telegram channel, I don't share signals, guys. If you join with an idea of waiting for the signals, guys, uh, I'm sorry, but you'll be disappointed. What I do share there, it's only the overviews. So it's upon you to make a decision whether you're going to take a trade or not. And if the trade end up being a loss, remember decision is yours. And trading is risky, guys. So, and losing is inevitable, guys. Sometimes you might have everything checked out according to your plan or your strategy, but the trade um, end up being a loss. So you don't have to blame the strategy. So no strategy that is 100%, guys. And if you have an hedge that is at least 40 as a win rate of 40%, you are good to go, guys. You don't have to have a strategy that is that is having 80% win rate for you to be profitable. If you have an hedge that can give you 40% win rate, then you are good to go. You are profitable. That is only what you want. The other thing that is quite important when it comes to trading is what we call the risk management. You have to have a good risk management if you want to stay on this game for a while or for some time. So you need a good risk, not a good risk reward, but what you call a risk management. So if you are risking 1% per trade, then stick to that. If you are risking 0.5% of your account, then stick to that. Are you getting? Don't just today risk 1%, tomorrow you are risking 3%, the day after that you are risking 4%. So that one will affect your win rate. So if you choose to have a 0.5, uh, if you choose to risk 0.5 of your account, then stick to that. If you choose to risk 1% like I do, then stick to that. So this was the setup, guys. This was the setup. So I saw this sweep of liquidity here. We had this sweep of liquidity. After this sweep of liquidity, you can see we have a break of structure. Then here I had my liquidity. Everything was set. And this was my order block. The last sell before the buy candle. That is the order block that I marked. Then I think this was on Wednesday. Yeah. Around 1, around 7 p.m. my time. That is when I shared this setup on the Telegram channel. And if you want to see, this is the channel. And this was the, let me go down. Yeah, this is what I shared. This was the setup. This was the liquidity. We had a sweep of liquidity, then a break of structure. And then what did I say? Sorry. I said what? I'm having highs on this EU setup. So here you don't see anywhere that I'm saying this is a signal, guys. I just said I'm having eyes on this EU setup. So it's upon you to make a decision whether you are going to execute or not. So then we had the same thing. I had the same thing on the DXY. So I'm saying I'm having the same thing on the DXY. Then this is this trade that I shared yesterday after it played out. Then I said, did you take the trade? 3 are already secured, done for the week. So that was it. That was the trade. Now, that being said, and also this trade also, guys, taught us something, the power of being patient, guys. Remember the setup, we marked the setup on Wednesday. But on Thursday we did nothing. We just waited till yesterday on Friday. That is when the setup played out. So you need guys to be patient. You need to be patient. Don't rush the process. And there is someone who asked me, how do I avoid taking the trades, uh, unnecessary trades? There is that urge of taking trades anytime you open the chart. And I feel that because back in the day when I was a beginner, I used to be that kind of a trader, whereby immediately I open the chart, I'm having that urge to take a trade or forcing the setup, that urge of taking every move that you see on the chart, guys. But as you move on or as you proceed, there are things you are going to learn, and the market is going to humble you guys, whether you like it or not. And it doesn't mean that the more trades you take, like it's going to determine whether you are going to be profitable or not. That is not the case when it comes to trading. In fact, the less you trade, the better. So you can imagine, for the whole of this week, this is the only trade that I took. Doesn't mean I didn't see other setups on the chart. No. But now you have to wait for your hair plus setup. And once you mark, once you mark this point of interest, once you mark this break of structure, sweep of liquidity and all that, you don't have any control whether the trade is going to play out or not. So your work is just to do your thing, then let the market play out. Remember, the worst thing that can happen here is a loss, nothing else. So once you see your setup, don't be shy to take the trade. Just place your order and just wait and see what the market will do. Are you getting the point? So now you can do our top-down analysis. As usual, we are going to start with the DXY. We are going to start with the DXY from the higher time frame. Remember, we are starting a new week, so we need to check on the higher time frame for us to get the current bias. The current bias. That is what is important for us. Now, I'm going to focus on this area because this is what is important for us now. So if you want to see what happened here, maybe you can refer from my previous videos and you will understand what happened within these areas. But now we are going to focus on what is happening here. So what are we having currently here? And from what I can see here, from the higher time frame, that is weekly time frame, I don't see anything clean here because everything has been mitigated here. The market has been pushing to the upside. There is no any good order block or any fair value gap that was left by the market. So I'll prefer to go to the lower time frame, that is daily time frame, and see what has been happening. So since we saw this sweep of liquidity, we have been expecting the market to close above this high here, but that one did not happen. Previously, we saw this sweep of liquidity here. Market never closed with a candle. Tried to push to the downside and then pushed to the upside, and also again failed to close above this high. So now, currently, what we are having here on a daily time frame, this was the last break of structure. Remember, this is not a break of structure. This is a sweep of liquidity. Until we see a candle closing above it, this will remain to be a sweep of liquidity as of now. So this was the last break of structure that we saw on the daily time frame. So, and within this area, we don't have any good order block or any fair value gap. The only fair value gap that we had is this one. The market pushed to the downside and filled this fair value gap. So we don't have anything good within this area. So now, what I will do, I will go to lower time frame, that is 4-hour time frame, and see what the market has for us. Now, here on the 4-hour time frame, you can see very clearly this is the break of structure that we were talking about on the daily time frame. So, and from down here, the market has been bullish. So currently, the DXY is bullish from the higher time frame. I hope you can see that. This was the market structure shift or the change of character. We had a break of structure, and then this was the last break of structure from the 4-hour time frame. And this is a strong break of structure since it swept liquidity within below this low before pushing to break this high. Now, after this break of structure, then we had a now the market is in a correction move. We are now in a correction. So this was I think this was the change of character from the lower time frame. Now that means now we have this is our swing high and this is our swing low. So this is our dealing range, and the market has already swept liquidity. So we have a dealing range. This is our swing high and this is our swing low. So what we are having here, we are going to mark our swing high to the swing low like this. This is our swing high and this is our swing low. Then what we do, we are expecting the market to come to the discount. Then from there we can look for buys. Now, what are we having here? What is our point of interest within this area? So what I can see here, it is this order block. I have this nice order block that is seated here. We have this order block. That is our demand zone. But are we going to wait for the market to come all the way here for us to look for a trend? No. What we'll do, we just capitalize on what is currently happening within this area. But once the market comes to the discount, that is where now we'll be focused on looking for buys from this area. So that being said, let us shift to the lower time frame and see what is happening in this area. So here we had this market structure shift. So the market came to that point of interest, came to within this area, swept liquidity, never closed above here, swept liquidity. And then what we see, we have another change of character within this area. Are you able to see that change of character? Maybe if I go to, even here it is visible. We have this sweep of liquidity. We have this pullback, push to the upside. Market came down, swept liquidity, then pushed to the upside. Then later on, what do we see? This was our strong low. Within this area, I think from the lower time frame, I think we'll have a break of structure here. Now, this was our strong low. That's why you can see the market struggle to break this low. Came here for the first time, failed to break this low, pushed to the upside. Then now the second time, that is when it managed to break this low. So now this was our strong low, and this is where we had a market structure shift or a change of character. And then now this is the setup that we had from Wednesday. And the DXY did not come to this point of interest, but if you go to 4-hour time frame, if you go to 4-hour time frame, you'll see something very interesting. Market never came to this extreme point of interest from the lower time frame, but reacted from this order block, and this gave me a confluence to take that trade on Euro USD. You see this good nice order block that is seated here on the 4-hour time frame. Market respected this order block, and that is where it reacted from. Now currently we're having a break of structure here. If you go to 15 minutes time frame, you can see here on the DXY, although on the Euro USD we don't have that, we'll see that in a short while. You have a break of structure here. Can you see that? You're having a break of structure. Now, if we go to 4-hour time frame, we also have another nice order block here. This is what I will be watching come next week. We have this good order block within this area. So that is what I will be watching from the next week. This is the buyers for the next week. So once the market comes within this area, that is when I will look for market structure shift. I won't take this trade blindly because, to be honest, I don't have any clean point of interest within this area. Can you see any good order block? There is no any good order block. So what I'll do, I'll wait for the market to come to this area. What I'm having is this an inducement here. Once the market gets to this area, that is when I will look for market structure shift from either 5 minutes time frame or 15 minutes time frame. And once I get a good change of character, that is when I will start looking for sells. That means I will be looking for buys on Euro USD. I believe we are together up to that point. So currently I don't have any good setup here. So we just wait. And also remember, this is also a good point of interest. If the market will violate this, then this is where I will also be watching the market. Market can decide to use this one as an inducement and then tap to this order block. Once it comes to this area, then it's just continue with the move. We'll just react to what the market tell us to do, guys. Now, I believe we are done with the Euro DXY. Let us go to my good friend Euro USD and see what we are having on the Euro USD. So for this, I'm going to start from the daily time frame. Allow me to start from the daily time frame. So remember, on our previous video that we did, I told you guys we had this inverse fair value gap within this area because the Euro USD is bullish from what I can see, but the current move here, it is bearish. But from the higher time frame, that is the higher time frame dealing range, we can see now we are bullish on the Euro USD. This was the last break of structure. So we were expecting to see reaction from this area. And remember, guys, I mentioned and I told you, here we have a very nice PD array, that is a inverse fair value gap. And from all the PD arrays, fair value gap is the most powerful PDRA, guys. Leave alone the order blocks, leave alone the breaker blocks, all those mitigation blocks, all of that. Fair value gap is the powerful of all of them. So I saw and we have been waiting and watching this inverse fair value gap, and I told you guys we are expecting to see a reaction within this area. And once the market came to this inverse fair value gap, you can see we saw this nice reaction from there and from this area. Now we want to see what is currently happening within this area. Do we have a good change of character yet for us to start looking for a buy? Because until we see that, then what? We cannot confirm that uh, we are bullish. That is the case. Now going down to 4-hour time frame, what do we see here? So this was the last break of structure. When I'm talking about the dealing range, this was the last break of structure. You see, it swept liquidity before pushing to break the structure. So this is what I had marked as my point of interest. This order block here, then we have this inducement. So I'm still expecting the market to push and take out this inducement. Then maybe when it taps to this order block, we start looking for a sell. But there is something I saw here. Market tried to push to the upside, but once it got to this area, we had this change of character here. Although this is not a strong change of character from this time frame, because this break of structure never swept any inducement within this area. So I cannot say that this is a strong change of character. But I think from the lower time frame, we saw that sweep of liquidity here. Let me just show you that. From 15 minutes time frame, what are we having? In fact, here we don't have any good. Let me go to 30 minutes. In fact, also this one is not a good break of structure. So let me delete this. I don't know why I marked that one. This is not a strong break of structure. I don't know why I marked that. I think the only strong break of structure was this one because it swept this liquidity here. I think that one is visible from 15 minutes time frame. Let us check. Yeah, we had this pullback here. Then market swept liquidity before pushing to break this high. So this was the last strong break of structure. Let me go to 1 hour time frame. So that means this is where we have a change of character. So after this change of character, now that is why I marked this order block. And I also have this order block, I think, from the lower time frame. That is why I defined this extreme order block. So I'm still expecting to see a reaction from these areas once the market get there. But also don't forget to pay attention. This is my ideal point of interest. This is what I will be watching because this is from the 4-hour time frame. I don't see any good break of structure here. That is why I'm telling you I'm not confident with these 2 point of interest. The only point of interest that I'm confident with, it is this area here. So until I see any good change of character within this area, I will not take any trade within this area. I don't know whether you are getting me. So I would rather take the buys till the market takes out this inducement, because from the 4-hour time frame, this is the only inducement that we are having here. And if I can mark this one, now this becomes my two relative equal highs that I'm expecting to work as an inducement. So let me just delete these two and just focus on this point of interest. So remember, we are intraday traders, so we just react to what the market is telling us. So my bias here on the Euro USD, we are still bearish until this high is violated. So we are still bearish, but currently the internal structure is bullish. The external structure is bearish, internal structure is bullish. I don't know whether you are getting me. So we pay attention to the external structure. So, but that one does not mean we are not going to take the any good buys that we see here. Are you getting? Until the market gets to our point of interest, that is when we should start looking for sales. So currently, I don't have any good structure on the Euro USD until we see a break of structure above here. So we don't have any good setup on Euro USD because until the market breaks above this, so we do not have any good setup on Euro USD. So, but don't worry, I will still update you on for those who are on my Telegram channel. I'll still update you if I see any good setup within the week, or maybe even on Wednesday. I'll also make a video on update. If we will have a good setup by then I will let you know. Now moving to the next pair, that is the GBP USD. Remember, GU correlate with the Euro USD, so we are expecting to see almost the same thing. Now, for a while, this is our dealing range that we are having here on the Euro GU. This is our swing high and this is our swing low. So we are expecting the market to push to the upside and take out these relative equal highs here, and maybe the market will come to this point of interest, and within this area, that is when we should start looking for our sales. But that one does not mean if we see any good buy within this area, we will not take any trade, because now we are expecting to see some bullish movement towards this area, because if we pick the Fibonacci tool, we place from the swing high to the swing low, the market is still at the discount. So we are expecting the market to come to the premium. Once it gets to the premium, this is where we are supposed to look for the sales. I believe you get that. So within this area, we can look for counter trends, the buys, till the market gets to this area. And once we get to this area, that is when we should start looking for sales. Now moving to the lower time frame, let me remove this. Moving to the lower time frame, we want to see if you have a good change of character, because that is what will confirm to us whether this the pullback has begun. And from what we can see here, I do have a good change of character. In fact, this was our first change of character, but it failed. You see here, we had this pullback, push to the upside, push to the downside, swept this inducement, then we had this push, and we broke the structure here. But now, we were expecting this low to hold, but it failed. Market pushed to the downside, but then again pushed to the upside. So now we have a break of structure here, or a change of character. You can call it the way you want. But now the problem is within this area, we don't have any fair value gap. We don't have any good order block in this time frame, 4-hour time frame. Because can you spot the only fair value gap was within this area, and it was mitigated by the wick of this candle. So from the 4-hour time frame, we don't have any good point of interest within this area. So now that means we shift down to the lower time frame. Now going down to 1-hour time frame. Also in 1-hour time frame, I don't have any order block down here. So the only structure that I had here was this break of structure. I think, is it visible on 30 minutes? Yeah. No, let us go to 15 minutes time frame. So we had this pullback, push to the upside, push to the downside, sweep of liquidity, then a break of structure. So we were expecting the GU to push down to this area, but never came down to this area. So I'm still having this point of interest as I'm still having this demand zone as my point of interest on GBP USD, because the market, this was our inducement, and you can see very clearly market never took this inducement. Market did not take this inducement. So I'm still having this set up on GBP USD. If the GU will come to this area, this is where I will look for buys. So that is what I'm having on GO. So until I see anything good, until we see anything good, so this is the setup that we're having on GO. That is the GBP USD. So we should be looking for buys once the market gets to this area or this demand zone. So that is what we are having here on the GU, because there is nothing else down here. So this is the area that we should be looking for buys to continue pushing to the upside. And I believe the last of all that I will do analysis is BTC. For the BTC traders, I will not leave you behind. So let us do the analysis on BTC. As usual, let us start from the weekly time frame. Now, from the weekly time frame, what do we see on the BTC USD? You can see very clearly we are bullish. Even a child can see now this market is bullish. From the that is from the external structure perspective. So we are bullish here. But now, currently, we are on a correction move because this is the last break of structure. Just train your eyes to see these things, guys. Just train your eyes to see these things. It's not hard to spot. Now, why am I saying this is a last strong break of structure? Because if you see here, market pushed the upside. We had this small pullback, pushed the upside, market swept liquidity above here. That means this low now was acting as an inducement. So market had to push to the downside, swept that inducement, then push to the upside. So that means now this is our dealing range. This is our dealing range. This is our swing high, and this is what? Our swing low. Are you getting? That is our swing high, and that is our swing low. And if we pick a Fibonacci tool, as market already traded to the discount, absolutely. So market is already within what? The discount. So what are we having here? What should we do? So we should be looking for buys once the market gets to this area. But are we going to take the buys blindly, guys? No. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to wait for a good change of character within this area. Now, what is our point of interest here? If you look closely, you can see very clearly that we are having this order block within this area, and the market has already tapped into that order block. Are we together? The market has already tapped into that order block. Don't know why it's let me make it visible on this time frame. Visibility weekly. Let's make it visible on the weekly time frame. Okay, like that. Now that this order block is from the weekly time frame, which time frame should we wait for a change of character? If you have said 4-hour time frame, that means you are correct. Let us shift to 4-hour time frame and see here in 4-hour time frame, are we having any change of character? Are we having any change of character yet? And from what you can see here, I don't think whether we are having a good structure, because I think this was the last strong break of structure. You see here we had this sweep of liquidity here, then a break of structure. I think if you go to for 1-hour time frame, you will see that clearly. Let me show you. Even not that one. We had we have this break of structure. This was a strong break of structure since it swept this inducement before pushing to break. We also have this break of structure is also a strong break of structure since it swept liquidity here. And then we're having this break of structure. So that was the last strong break of structure. So now this is the high that we are expecting to be taken out. If this high gets to be taken out, now you are having your market structure shift. I don't know whether you are getting, guys. If this high gets to be taken out by a candle, that means now you have a break of structure. Why am I saying this high here? Because this high is a strong high. And that is why you can see here, for the market tried to break it, but it failed for the first time because this high is a strong high. It swept an inducement before pushing to break the structure. So we are not expecting this high to be broken or to be taken out without a fight. We expect to see a fight between the bears and the bulls within this area. But if the bulls will win this war and take out this eye, that now will confirm to us that now we are ready to go bullish. I don't know whether you are getting. If this eye gets to be taken out, that will confirm to us that we are bullish on BTC USD. So have eyes on those who trade BTC, have eyes on BTC. So once you get a break of structure within this area, once this eye gets taken out, then now that will be your confirmation for you to start looking for buys. So we'll just wait for what will happen once the market will open on Monday. Wait and see. Have eyes on BTC. Wait and see and see the market structure shift. Then from there now you can start looking for buys. So currently we are bearish until this eye gets to be taken out. Once this eye gets taken out like this, sorry, once that guy gets taken out like this, now wait for the pullback, good change of character, then just take the damn trade, targeting the highs that will be formed within that area. So that is the bias that I'm having here on the BTC. So you can tell me on the comment section, what do you think about this bias on the BTC USD for the BTC traders? For those who trade dollar pairs like me, you can also leave a comment on the comment section and tell me what do you think about this bias. So I would like to stop at that point. So if you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, kindly make sure you subscribe. And without further ado, see you on the next one. So happy trading week. Until next time, it's a bye bye for now.